Today I'm going to share with you a tragic story of how my sister tried to kill me 3 times when I was a kid.
Like that time she tried to burn you down. So did your sister really hate you that much?
Unfortunately so. I was the youngest child for until I was 18. My mother had another child, but until then I was the youngest. So I got picked on quite a bit as a kid. You don't have any siblings.
Nope, I'm the only.
So you never really had to experience, being picked on. And my sister would do things to me, and I don't know if she had moments of psychosis that kicked in.
Sheer lunacy.
Yeah. But she would occasionally just do things that were mean. One example, or a couple of examples, when I was too young to even remember this happening, she wrote my name on the wall to try to get me in trouble with my parents. Of course, I wasn't even old enough yet to know how to write my own name. So it was pretty obvious to my parents I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
She tried nonetheless. She tried once to, she told me she was going to make me drink vinegar. And I was like, no, you're not. There's no way you'll ever get me to drink vinegar. And she said, yeah, I will. So one day I was sick. I don't know if I had the flu or what, but I was sick. And she said, you want me to get you some water? Yes, please. Take a sip of the water. Vinegar.
Vinegar is pretty nasty.
And probably the last time she was really able to do anything of any real relevance, I was a little older, and her and one of my other sisters plotted to get me kicked out of my room. My two sisters shared a bedroom. We had a 3-bedroom house, my parents and then mine, and then they had a room because they were the two girls.
Right.
And so they plotted to, get in a fight at school, and just, they were at each other's throats, supposedly. But realistically, what they wanted was to each have their own room. So because they had a fight, I ended up sleeping on the couch in the living room.
How long did this last?
Well, until one of them moved out.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I slept either on the couch or, I'd go sleep in my parents' room when they were gone to work or whatever. But yeah, those things alone, are pretty devastating to a kid.
But they won't kill you.
They won't kill you. But there were a few instances where, as I said, brief psychosis, something kicked in, and my sister decided she was going to go all the way and try to
take you out.
Yeah. So when you're little, you kind of tend to try to do what the older people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
So my sister, who's, she's several years older than me. She's not like 20 years older than me or anything like that, but she's older enough that I wanted to try to mimic the things that she did. So she was cutting an apple.
There's enough of a difference in age. Just like what she does is cool.
Right. Sadly, to the point that I even watched soap operas some as a kid because that's what she watched when we got home. And she wouldn't.
I would have told that.
She wouldn't have let me watch Ninja Turtles. Another mean thing she did when I was a kid. Anyway, but she was cutting an orange, and I was too young to remember this too. But she was cutting an orange,
apple or an orange,
or an apple.
You just said an apple.
I was
just saying.
Yeah, you interrupted me. I was going to say an apple or an orange. I don't remember which.
We'll let you slide on that fact.
But she mimicked cutting her finger, and set the knife and the piece of fruit down, and went to rinse it off, leaving young child alone in a room with sharp instruments. So, of course, wanting to do what she did, I picked the two up and decided that I would try to cut the fruit also. And because I had seen her, and she knew that I would want to do the same things, I had seen her cut herself. I, too, wanted to cut myself. I cut my finger. I believe it was this finger. I don't remember, but I remember my parents telling me that when I was older that I cut it so bad, it was hanging by skin, basically. I basically cut it off.
That's gross.
Now, I don't even really have a scar from it anymore, I guess because I was so young. My skin's grown enough that the scar's gone. I don't know. But yeah, I cut my finger off, but I lived through that. Mm-hmm. So several years passed, and we lived in a different house at this point. And what kid doesn't like macaroni and cheese, right? Except for my daughter, she doesn't. I'm working on it.
Other than that,
yeah. But anyway, she's cooking and she's got the water boiling and making macaroni and cheese for her little brother and her to eat.
Right. You're the little brother.
Right.
That was him.
Right.
Just to clarify.
So she waited until I was walking behind her, and she picked the boiling water up off of the stove and turned and dumped
Punched you in the arm? Oh.
Dumped the boiling water all down my shoulder, my back. Some got in my ear. This was bad. I remember this happening.
You remember this one.
And I remember telling my mother in the car on the way to the doctor or hospital or on the way back or whatever, Mama, am I going to die? I thought I was going to die. It hurt so bad. I ran to my room. They said that they thought I fell down the stairs, but I didn't fall down the stairs. I ran, and there was a little stairway into my room. And I went to my knees in my floor, and I reached back, grabbed my shirt, and pulled it over my head with my back attached to it. It peeled flesh from my back. I mean, it melted my skin to my shirt.
Wow.
And I do apologize. I know this is graphic. I feel like I've never shared this publicly, and I just need to get these things out. I hope my sister's not watching. I don't want to cause any more
retaliation.
Yeah.
She'll come after you for it.
Right. I don't want there to be any.
She know where you live.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that was pretty bad. But as much as I thought I was going to die, I lived. And the last time that she tried to kill me, we had in the same house that she poured the water on me. I was outside playing, I think, and the house caught on fire. They said it was an electrical fire. I'm not entirely convinced she didn't arrange for.
Maybe it was a sister fire.
Yeah, it very well could have been. And I don't say that lightly. I don't want it to sound like I'm just accusing my sister of anything. You'll understand in a moment. While we were outside watching the house burn and waiting on the fire department, we had a dog named Sugar, and we had a little back, not like a closed-in laundry room that you walked out of into the backyard. And the dog was in there. And of course, the house is burning. I don't know that it was completely engulfed at this point, but I'm a little kid, And my sister looks at me and she says, "Hey, Joe, our dog's in the house, in the burning house. Our dog's going to burn to death, Joe.
Morbid. You
should go into this burning house, young child, to save the dog." Now, granted, because I am smarter than my sister, I knew better than to go.
She doesn't see this episode.
Yeah, I knew better than to go into this burning house. By this point, I had caught on to her schemes. I mean, she'd already helped me cut my finger off. She'd already poured boiling water on me. So attempts to burn me had already failed.
You may try to kill me twice, but I'm going to have to draw the line somewhere.
Right. Yeah. Assault me once, shame on you. Assault me twice, still shame on you. Assault me a third time, and I fall for it. Really, shame on you. But anyway, I didn't go in, and she actually went in because she didn't want it to look obvious that she was trying to send me into the fire. So she went in and got the dog.
Just for a cover.
Right, just for a cover. But, and then since then, over the next several years, I grew and grew, and now I'm bigger than her. So she stopped picking on me quite as much. It was after those three things happened that her and our sister worked to get me kicked out of my room. She figured that was as close as she could get to being rid of me. It was just
dead, out of the room. Close enough.
So, I mean, if you can relate to this, if you have stories of your relatives trying to off you in just crazy ways, or maybe you just have some ideas for therapy for me to help me move beyond this. I still have nightmares. Feel free to leave those in the comments.
I used to think I wanted a sibling when I was little.